Jacobs Show. Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real relevant and relatable content on today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Yes, we have a new episode for you today. We have our own Kimberly Willis. I say our own, even though I'm just meeting you for the first time.
Yes.
How am I your own? You don't even know me. Right?
We sister girls already. It don't matter.
You know what? You can really feel a connection with a person even before they ever say a word. I don't know what that's about. And sometimes it works good that you can do that, and other times it's like it's kind of judgmental if you don't feel that connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have that happen? That it's like,
yeah, I just smile and bat my eyes.
This is going to be interesting, right?
Right.
Well, I feel like a good connection for whatever reason with you, and I was looking through some of the pictures and different things, and I just can just feel that your spirit is just so wonderful and that God has so many great things to do with you and through you. So I'm excited about having you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, tell us, first of all, where are you located? I didn't even ask that backstage. Where are you?
I am located in the great state, the mitten state of Michigan, just right in Southfield, Michigan, just outside of Detroit.
Okay. I actually used to have that area when I was in pharmaceutical sales. I would cover that area for a specific location that I had to go and target. But there was a lot happening in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to be about your business. You know. You can't
absolutely. Absolutely. We didn't play out here.
Don't act bougie. I'm like, okay, I'm here in the clinic with everyone and we all together. I'm with y'all. So we don't have no issues, right?
Right.
So it would be the experience that I personally believe I made it, if that makes sense. Not coming and I'm telling somebody something, but coming and just saying, hey, I'm amongst my friends and we're going to all grow together. You know?
Absolutely.
And I think it's how, almost kind of like how people can approach different situations and circumstances that could determine sometimes the outcome of that situation. Do you think that too?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, connection is important and really just helping you get through things as well.
Yeah. Well, I know this is not what the episode is about today.
That's all right.
They're like, wait, what are we talking about?
We're just giving them a preview.
What'd you say?
We're just giving them a preview.
Right. So no, today, everyone, we are actually going to be talking about resilience and healing beyond cancer. That's today's episode. So make sure you take a moment and invite your friends, your family, coworkers, enemies, anybody, people that you think could benefit from understanding how to heal beyond a circumstance. It's not even just about cancer, but how to heal from some of the medical diagnoses that we may receive and things that are trying to weigh us down in life. Mm-hmm. Here today, we have Kimberly Willis, who's going to be talking to us about it. And so I want to go ahead and share some of her information and who she is without giving too much, because then I want to hear her backstory. Is that fair, Kimberly, if I don't read the whole thing? Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, in a nutshell, Kimberly Willis is a fighter. That's the number one thing you need to know when you walk away from today's episode is she is a fighter, a true warrior with style to match. Yes, look at that. The earrings, yes. Being a breast cancer survivor, she's motivated to help bridge the gap between feeling subconscious to being confident in fashion. So she has successfully operated a boutique. We're going to talk about that. It's for men and for women. She's also birthed business that is something that we're going to be talking about as well. It's called Survivor's Corner. And I'll make sure you get a chance to hear about that throughout today's episode. But she knows that life is hard. And sometimes we need to be reminded of it's okay to look good and to feel good and to know that we are worth fighting for. So her story today is going to be nothing short of compelling and heartwarming, heart-wrenching, everything that you can imagine. I'll talk about some of her books that she has as well, that she's authored, and her family. So welcome to today's episode. Well, I guess I should go ahead and say these things too. She is a proud member of the Michigan Association of Female Entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
She's also National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, and Indie Business Network. With this experience, she knows the power of words, emotions, and the need to not only survive, but to thrive. Welcome, Kimberly Willis, to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you for having me. And I love your glasses, by the way. They're fire.
And you know what? These are reading glasses. I have already took and told the whole studio audience for anybody. Oh, speaking of which, my birthday is May 31st, everybody. For anybody that
Okay.
cares. And I don't know when you'll be watching this episode. It might be in December or something. But just know May 31st is my birthday, right?
That's Kim Day.
And so I tell people that there is like a glare on these rare glasses. So sometimes you can see the glare. So anybody that ever wants to send a pair of red non-glare glasses, feel free to do so. Okay. Thank you so much for the compliment. So
Absolutely.
whoever's in the studio audience over here today, let's see. Oh, I see people already tuning in. Mother Wandra Audrey said, "Good morning, Lady Kim and guest. How are
Hello.
you?"
How you doing?
And Candace Grant is on, and she said, "Good morning as well to you."
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, so listen, everybody, make sure you go ahead and tag your friends because today is going to be epic, is what it's going to be. So, Kimberly, I know that when I was doing research that in 2024, I'm just going with current statistics, according to the National Breast Cancer Foundation, that
Hmm.
there are an estimated amount of like 310,720 new cases of invasive breast cancer
Yeah.
typically will be diagnosed in women in the United States, as well as like 56,500 new cases of non-invasive breast cancer. So this is a big deal that
It is.
people are dealing with this, and many times on an island by themselves. If you could take us back on your journey some and how you found out that you had breast cancer.
Those stats are very alarming. Sometimes people don't know that there's really like 15 different forms of breast cancer, and invasive ductal carcinoma is one of them. That's one of them that I had. I was 34 when I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I didn't have the gene, and it does not run in my family. It was just like, hey, girl, I'm choosing you today. Let's rock and roll. So I felt a lump in my breast. And typically, that's how some women find it. Um, Being under 40, you're not you don't have access to mammograms and things like that. So I'm a true advocate on making sure that you are checking out and you know your body. So if I didn't do those things and listen to God and to go to the doctors and see about it, I wouldn't be talking to you today, because again, I was already stage 3 by the time I went. The first time I felt the lump, though, I didn't do anything about it. My That was in February of 2017. My grandmother had just passed away, like literally the day after my birthday. I'm a Valentine's Day baby. And but then also around that same time, a week prior to that, my husband was called to pastor a church. So I had a lot going on in
Okay.
February. So right after that, I waited about a few months, only because at the time I was a branch manager at a credit union. And, just working, if you're working a 9 to 5, sometimes you have to do more with less at times. If people
Yeah.
call in, if you're a leader, all my leaders in the room, listen, you get this. Sometimes you got to pick up the slack for things that might happen out of nowhere. So I finally made sure I did some self care. So make sure you are doing that for yourself. And I said, let me still see about it, because I still felt the lump. So then I was diagnosed in May of 2017 with stage 3 breast cancer. I
What
had,
is three?
um,
Can you tell people what stage three means? Because not
yeah,
everybody knows the different stages. So how was it determined stage three versus stage one or two for you?
sure. So stage cancer, breast cancer in particular, has 4 stages. So you have stage 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And even within that, you have stage 1A or stage 2B, and it goes so forth all the way to stage 4. Stage 4 is not curable. That's mean that it's spread all over the body, your lungs, your liver, and brain, and things like that. Those are the typical places where it travels to. In my case, To be stage 3, it has to be a certain size, but then also it means that it's spread to your lymph nodes. And typically one of the places that it spreads to your lymph nodes is under your arm. Typically, when we talk about lymph nodes, we only think about the ones that's in our throat. So when you're sick and you feel it swollen, you actually have that all throughout your body. It helps move fluid and blood all over the place. And when the cancer gets to your lymphatic system, it does the same thing. It can move throughout your body, but it hits under the arm typically first. So to be stage 3, not only do you have the lump, but then you also have it under your arm. So that's what I was dealing with.
Okay, okay. I was just taking notes on what you're saying because this is very
Absolutely.
interesting to me too. So you were diagnosed with stage 3 only because you found out yourself through a self-examination because at the age that you're 34, you're not
Yeah,
even eligible per se to go and get mammograms per se. So that's
absolutely.
just running around and saying, "Oh, I'm signing up for my annual mammogram" until you're a
Mhm.
certain age. So you get diagnosed at 34. Continue on with your story. Tell us more.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with two different types of breast cancer. One is called DCIS, called ductal carcinoma in situ. That really means that you have cancer that's within your breast tissue that hasn't you don't feel that one. It's still within the breast tissue system. But then the
Right.
one that I felt is the invasive. It's the one that you're talking about. So typically, if you feel a lump, it could be the IDC, the invasive ductal carcinoma. So I had
Okay.
both of those as well. So after I got diagnosed with cancer, because of my age and the stage that I was in, they threw the book at me, meaning
Hmm.
that I had literally a year-long process of treatments. So from May 2017 to May 2018, I had to have uh, I had 15 rounds of chemo, 6 weeks of radiation, and several surgeries. But then my story doesn't stop there. During that time, I also had to deal with my parents having cancer. So in 2017, my father's bladder cancer came back around
Oh,
August, September. And he decided, because it was a reoccurrence for him, that he didn't necessarily want to fight. So now I'm dealing with trying to wrap my mind around my father being terminal with cancer while I am fighting. Like I was getting ready to start chemo when I found out the news for my father. As time went
oh,
on, I still served, my husband's pastoring at this point. Now, mind you, let me back up for a minute. When I was diagnosed, my husband was installed in April 2017. So when I
right.
got diagnosed in May, like I had to hit the ground running, like I couldn't stop. So
Right. So now you're first lady on top of
exactly. So
right.
I made sure that I had my glam team ready. So when it was time for chemo and things like that, I had my wig ready. I was already just preparing for one because I just wanted one, but it just ended up working out that I really needed it at this point, and I didn't want to look sick. I didn't really want people to necessarily be in our um, business at that time. When you are
Hmm.
in the spotlight being a first lady pastor or even a preacher's kid, because my husband is a preacher's kid as well, so I already got a variation of it before he became pastor. Sometimes you want to be able to have some things to yourself for a moment, because people mean well and people will pray over you, but you also have to be careful who prays over you.
That's right.
So I wanted to also protect my children. My youngest was 1 at the time, my oldest was 11, and I wanted to protect them. So I wanted to make sure that I looked as normal as possible. So the congregation didn't know until literally I finished chemotherapy in January of 2018. So I had my wigs,
You really
I
did.
had
You
the
really
lashes. Yes, I one of my good friends who's a makeup artist, I took a class. She told me how to do my face. I had the wigs popping. They had look the baby hair. When I didn't even know you could have baby hair with fake hair like that. I was so excited through the process. So it still allowed me to look and feel good despite the days where I really didn't feel good with having chemo and things like that, because that was hard. And also being on the worship team, I was still singing every week. And really it was only by the grace of God that I was able to still be able to minister through song, because for me, even though I always sing about God and it's for his people, but also singing to him, it was different during that time. It was really about just pouring my heart to him and just really letting him know that I needed him. The songs just hit different. It's this one song by Anthony Brown called You Thought I Was Worth Saving. Man,
Wow.
I've heard that song so many times, but when you're in the thick of different things, um, certain music can resonate with you. And I take this today. So I am connected to a lot of breast cancer survivors or other cancer survivors. And I, give them, praise songs because really praise is our weapon and really helps you through those difficult times, even when things are going good with that. So going through my father, dealing with not wanting to have treatments and things like that, he ended up succumbing to cancer March of 2018. But then it tells to stop there. By this time, I'm getting ready to start radiation. And during the week of his celebration of life, my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. I mean, like, you can't make this stuff up. It's just crazy. Um, Unfortunately, with her dealing with the grief of my father, dealing
Right.
with, her worried about myself, she ended up succumbing to lung cancer 82 days after my father. So out of the three of us, I am the one who is able to tell the story, to still be able to have that legacy that my parents have instilled in me, to be able to educate people about cancer, not just breast cancer, but all cancers,
Right.
about health issues, to really advocate for your health, to really see about it, to let you know, like, hey, if the doctors are not listening to you, you gotta go to another place. But
Right.
all of this has equipped me for the next phase of my life,
Right.
which Survivor's Corner has been birthed and things like that.
Okay. Girl, you done got me towed down already. This is crazy. I was like, normally you wait till the middle or the last part of the show and try and sandwich things in. But this right here is nothing that I could have even imagined you revealing it. And I didn't know this information. So I'm
Yeah,
only finding it out right now as well. And you have my deepest condolences
thank you.
regarding both of your parents transitioning from this earth. Um, Because it seems like I want to go back for a second. You said that your dad made a conscious choice. It wasn't that he didn't have the options available to him, the same
Hmm.
type of therapies or whatever, but he chose that I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Whatever God's will is what's going to happen. How did that register with you and your family to know that your dad was making that choice, that he wasn't going to go with any of the treatments?
For me personally, I had to learn how to respect his decision. I tried throughout the course of my own treatment to show him, hey, I'm doing it. You've done it before. Come on, let's do it again. And he was dead set on no. And I had to learn how to respect that. Um, Man, kudos to my mom. Just again, going through all of those things, being a caregiver, not knowing, during this time she's probably, she had cancer within her own body. But it was hard on our entire family, with doctor's appointments for not only myself or the
Right.
different changes that my father was going through and things like that. It was just really difficult to process, but the biggest lesson that I had to learn was to respect his decision and to not condone his decision, and just to comfort him in his decision, especially when it came to the last days. To make sure that I saw about him. It's something when you have cancer or really any illness, you start to look at life a little bit differently. You always hear people say that, life is but a vapor and things like that.
Yeah.
But when you are really diagnosed with something or you had a near death experience, an accident or anything like that, it starts to shape how life looks going forward for you.
Yes, it
And
does.
really, for me, I really started to cherish my days, really started to cherish my family more, and just the importance of seeing about your health and things like that. Um, yeah, it's just a lot to unpack.
Cherishing the days when you with you, your mom, and your dad having cancer. I know that that had to be in the forefront of your mind, that every single moment that we have, it matters. Every moment.
Absolutely.
None of it is something that is to be taken for granted, or to be just like, oh, we'll get around to it, because getting around to it may or may not happen if you're dealing with cancer, you
Right.
know? So it's like, get around to it now. And so it kind of forces, I don't know because I've never had cancer. So I'm only speaking from the fact that I've had a child pass away and I have three children that are fighting and battling this whole cystic fibrosis, a lung disease
Mhm.
thing. So when they say they want to go fishing or they say they just want to go rock climbing or go to a movie or whatever the case may be, I make it a priority
Yeah.
because it's very important. The scholarships and the things that some of my children apply to, like they'll apply for different scholarships, especially one of my older children. And I never say this to I never have said this to him ever. But I guess I'm saying it now on the show. Or maybe it's gonna be heard, I don't know. But all of the time, all of the time, those scholarships are in honor of people that are in their 20s that transition from the same exact thing that God is blessing him to survive through, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
And that hits me as a mom very differently than just, oh, you just applied for a scholarship. No,
Yeah.
you're not just applying for a scholarship. So when you know, like your mom and your dad and you, three people in your family are battling with this disease that is incurable in those instances, how is the family rallying together under those circumstances?
Community is very important, and I just wanted to pause and just also offer my condolences for your child. I know that is not an easy task. I never had to experience that, but one of my dear friends, one of my best friends, just lost her 12-year-old daughter to brain cancer just a few months ago. So I can see the pain, and I can, I can only imagine what that's like. But one of the things that has helped me was the sense of community.
Mm,
Not only that, my family, but my church family, my pink sisters, those different sectors, they all played a part on my mental space and my emotional space because cancer is more than just a physical disease. It attacks how you feel emotionally, it attacks how you feel about things spiritually. If you're not strong in your faith, it can have you start wavering or you start asking questions and things like that. Or even your mental space too. Some of the medications that you take actually put you in depression. So, it's so many things that you have to fight through being a survivor. And really, my family has really rallied around me. I remember my sister putting lotion on my feet at one point. I remember my mom being in the chemo chair with me. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think I was going to get emotional either. But I remember her just making sure that I was okay. I remember my first few treatments. You start to learn your body a
right.
lot more when you're sick. And during my first treatments with cancer, I realized that I couldn't tolerate caffeine. So, like, I was one of the few individuals that can taste the chemo. So not only do you feel it going through your body, but I can actually taste the metal thing, and it don't taste great, guys. That's not something you want to taste.
Right,
So
of course.
because of that, I'm sorry, even before the chemo came through, you have to have what is called pre-meds prior to the actual chemo drug going through.
Right,
So
right.
the saline, so normal saline that will flush out your veins that you would get for blood draws and things like that, I can taste that.
Wow.
So I would gag because, it would be hard. So the nurses had to work with me to find different ways how to pump it slow so I wouldn't get nauseous or throw up. I started to realize that I would drink ginger ale because typically you'd have ginger ales. So I'm from Michigan. We got burners and
Yeah,
things like that,
caffeine.
you know?
Does it have
And
caffeine? Ginger ale? Ginger
um,
ale needs to be
well, it's
still.
acidic. It's
Right.
acidic. So not only the caffeine, but anything acidic really was bothering me when I was trying to consume it. And notice every time that I drunk it, I would, you know, have an accident. So, I just remember my mom helping me through that, my sister helping me through it, my husband. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how my husband has been such a pillar for everything that was going on. Still made me feel beautiful. He was the only one who saw my bald head before anyone else did. Um, and, he made me feel beautiful throughout the process. So my family has really helped me throughout this whole process. Shout out to my husband, LT Willis.
What's his first name?
LT LaThomas.
Oh, LaThomas, LT Willis. LT Willis, you know you're going to have some brownie points because you done already made this woman feel beautiful and being a beautiful mom as well. Look at that family. Look at that family. I
Thank
know
you.
that they were worth fighting for alone, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm, mm, mm.
Absolutely.
Whew. Okay. Now I
Yeah.
hear myself in the conversation here, so I'm trying to process how
You
I've never.
know, one of the things that I cherish these days is to be able to see things. At
Yeah,
the time, my daughter was 11, and this year she's going to be a senior. So every time different milestones hit, I get emotional because I'm like, God, you kept me to be able to see at least one of my children to graduate and things like that. I could die
Jesus.
tomorrow from a car accident or things like that. But I'm just thankful to be able to witness that. There's some people who don't have that gift to be able to witness, to see things. My mother isn't unable to see my daughter graduate. My father is unable to see my daughter graduate. But I'm thankful that he is allowing me to be able to witness those things. Him to be able to witness uh, one of my youngest sons, who's 11, to witness his art. It just got displayed with the county, and like just those little milestones. He's getting ready to graduate as well. I've got two graduates this year. He's getting ready to go to middle school, and I'm just thankful to be able to see those things. So yes, I was fighting for not only for my life, but I was fighting really hard for my family, fighting hard for my church family, fighting hard for my husband, and just I needed to still be here. There was still work to do.
Yes, and yeah, looking at this picture, I know I probably put it up several times, but there's plenty of work that still needs to be done, and they are you're their cheerleader, their advocate, so
Mhm.
they need you to be here as a thriver for them.
Yes.
To God be the glory that you are here. And
Thank you.
even in situations like where your mom and your dad, and my dad also passed, and he passed with cancer as well. But and yet on April 30th, it was the death anniversary date.
Mhm.
So I look at it though, Kimberly, and you tell me how you look at it. I look at it like they still, and even my sister, one of my sisters passed away with cancer, ovarian cancer. But every day she said, I'm healed. I'm healed. And she
Mhm.
100% she's healed, right? And she is healed. She's just
She
healed
is.
permanently in her permanent resting place. So I believe that whether we survive or thrive here on this earth or we survive or thrive in heaven, either way, technically we still are victorious, in my opinion. What
Absolutely.
are your thoughts on this?
No, I totally agree with that. By the time that my mom was starting to have symptoms, because she really didn't have anything, all she had was a cold. And listen, my mom always went to the doctors. If she scraped her knee, she was there. Okay. So there was no negligence on her part about seeing about it.
Right.
However, when she went to the doctors to check on the cough, they just kept, dealing, only doing cold medicine and things like that. So it would go away and it would come back.
Mhm.
So when we started to when it came time when they saw something like on an MRI,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, God, I felt it. I was like, I feel like I'm about to enter another storm. I'm just asking you to help carry me through that process.
Mhm.
And I asked for God's will to be done in whatever that it may be. This was before my father passed away because she couldn't do too much because again she was caring for him as well. But again, they kept misdiagnosing it. So I think if she would at least been diagnosed in January, she would have had a fighting chance, I would think, to really kind of get in front of it because she didn't even get a chance to start chemo. I think the day she died was her day that she was supposed to get her first infusion, but she was too weak by that time to even get it.
And so
But
never even knowing this, she didn't even know that she had cancer
mhm.
until it was too late. That's
So I'm really about, being an advocate for that about your health. If you feel like something is wrong, keep talking about it, keep seeing about it. I just know someone recently who kept going to urgent care and things like that and was getting the wrong diagnosis, ended up going to emergency room and ended up having a blood clot. So it's like, but went to urgent care and they just kept dismissing it. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. You probably just have acid reflux or whatever that it is. You have to go continuously to advocate for yourself, because you have to remember there's a lot of people, unfortunately, with everything that's going on with our food, that we just live in an unhealthy society, and it's not necessarily our fault. We have processed foods. We have, I mean, you have to read the labels on everything. So, like, having cancer has taught me to really look at everything. But you know it just really taught me to make sure that I had a voice, and if they're not listening to it, I have to switch. I recently just switched one of my oncologists because just weren't on the same page anymore, and it was okay. Now I feel like that I am at a better place, and I don't even talk ill of the prior doctor. Again, I feel like we've outgrown each other in our medical journey. And honestly, since making the switch, I've been able to be off certain drugs, because after you finish your active treatment, which was for me, in my case, from May 2017 to May 2018, you still have to have maintenance drugs. In my
Okay.
case, at least 10 years. So I have to take drugs that blocks estrogen, because my particular cancer is driven off of estrogen. That's another thing that we got to talk about as well, because especially a lot of people in the African American community, we get
Mhm.
what is called triple negative breast cancer, which means that your cancer is not driven off of estrogen or testosterone and things like that. So hormone blocking the hormone is not going to kill the cancer. It will kill mine, but it won't kill someone with triple negative.
Oh, so it
Also,
just
the type of chemo you get
mm,
really is different as well. So it's really important to know that you're getting the right drug, because again, the doctors, they mean well, but they're seeing so many people because we're unhealthy, and sometimes we're looked at as a number, and you have to reel them back to let them know, hey, I'm a person. Let's really dive deep into my situation, but then also journal and do different things as well. So then when you are coming with your complaints and things like that, they'll be able to be like, okay, I see a pattern here.
okay. I'm glad that you sound like you are an advocate for your
I am.
own. And I'm grateful to hear that, because it sounds like if you can champion your own truth and your own success and saying, listen, this relationship has gone as far as it's going to go, because at the end of the day, I need I need more than what I'm
Mhm,
receiving in that situation. Like you said, you don't have to speak ill of the physician, but that
mhm.
you're not synergistically working together at that point
Exactly.
in your best interest as the patient. So, how do you encourage other people that are already in the middle of their storms, whatever the diagnosis is, to be an advocate for themselves? What do you recommend that they do to determine, hey, this is not working, or yes, this is working, but this is what I need to say more of and see more of?
Mhm.
What do you recommend?
There's a fine balance of listening to the doctor, but then also listening to your body.
Interesting.
When you are in the thick of treatment, I say still go with what the doctor is saying at first, because you don't know. You don't know.
Mhm.
However, educate yourself. They give you, I remember my breast surgeon, she gave me what I call is a medical Bible that really talks about all of the terms, where to go for reputable sites if I wanted to do my own research on cancer. So I started to arm myself, because when you first diagnose, you hear the Charlie Brown mom's voice, want, 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 want. You don't really get everything. So it's good to
Right.
have another person or to record what's going on. But once
Okay.
that phase is over, really, I did a lot of research. So that would help my voice if I felt like we're not aligned in different things. Getting a second opinion, that's great too. But again, I always say, especially if you're in a later stage, kind of don't have time to be playing around. So listen to the doctor. And then if you're starting to see things that's not working, okay, address those situations. Um,
Address it directly, like have a notepad or something and say, this is
exactly.
still flaring up and I need it addressed. What are we going to do to bring this particular issue to closure? Because I do that with my children too. I'll go
Absolutely.
in with a whole notepad and I do it for myself, because I'll
Hmm.
forget when I go into a
Yeah.
doctor's appointment. I'm like, I forgot to say this. And here, this is the
Yeah.
biggest act that's agitating me, you know?
Mhm. And sometimes you'll forget, like, for me, like, I can tolerate pain. They'll be like, "How you feeling?" "I'm fine." And
Right.
then I start going through it, and I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm not." I'm just so conditioned to say I'm fine. So
Mhm.
writing those things down, yes, helps your voice to let them know, okay, this is what's going on, and things like
Right.
that. So really writing it down, doing your research and things like that. But it also trusting your doctor. Like, I do research on my doctors. So I trusted the team of people who I had because, I mean, my breast surgeon was dope. So anyone that she kind of recommended, I just trusted the process. She was like, "You don't have time for a second opinion." I didn't do it, but I really did trust what she had to say, especially
Right.
because she gave me the tools to educate myself in the process and things like that. It wasn't until later when I was starting to notice again different things where I'm like, "Okay, you're not hearing me. This is how this is affecting me, or my body is hurting," and things like that, because your joints hurt. Again, you get thrown into depression. There's so many different side effects. Like, I'm sorry, I feel like the treatment is worse than the actual cancer because it's just tearing your body down. Chemo kills not only the bad cells but the good ones too.
That's interesting because a lot of people, I have my niece's mom, who's like a sister as well to me. She had, I think, a stage 3 cancer, and she went to whole health living nutritionists and
Mm-hmm.
wellness to be able to do anything she could to prevent certain
Yeah.
types of treatment. I think she did ultimately still get some chemotherapy too, but she was like adamant that she did not want certain things to be put in her body,
Yeah.
and was on raw vegetables and fruits, different things that really helped her, very healthy, walking around and exercising and just fighting it. And she's still here on this earth and doing great. Like great. She's
Mm-hmm.
thriving, you know?
Yeah.
So do you think that that plays, even though I know now everybody know that we are not medical physicians, and the views that
Exactly.
we are expressing on the Kim Jacobs show are simply that of Kimberly's personal journey with, I want to make sure I find that wherever the comment is here. Yeah. The views expressed are that of us as individuals, are not obviously not from a medical standpoint. So please keep that in mind as well. This is her personal testimony and personal story. All right. So, Kimberly, do you personally feel like the education that you personally sought and the advocacy that you put for your own self made a difference when it came to your health and healing with cancer?
No, absolutely. And it's made a difference in others as well. So much to the point where I've been invited with like 9 other people throughout the nation to be a part with the cancer community that really helps talk about, cancer and disparities in the African American community and also those in low income communities, because not only do you have to deal with cancer, but you also have to deal with the type of treatment that you may receive depending on where you live or who you
Right.
are. So, definitely, it has impacted my life. Sometimes as women, we can be viewed as aggressive if we
Yeah.
try to speak up. But I'm like, this is my life, okay? You're not the
Like,
one who's
right.
gonna be breathing, so I'm sorry, I gotta talk. But it's definitely has helped my life. It's helped others. Recently, again, I had someone who I know personally who ended up having triple negative, and that conversation I was talking about making sure you get the right drugs,
Mhm.
they must have forgot, but that it happened, and then I reminded them, and then they made sure they had that conversation to get them
Right.
back on track. So yeah, definitely it has made an impact in my life, but as others as well. Again, I'm off one of the drugs, and that my energy level has improved. Some of the pain that I dealt with, still dealing with though, but is definitely decreased because I'm off one of the things from switching doctors.
Wow. Now you are also an author. I want to talk about that today too, because
Mhm.
you've kicked this whole cancer thing, you're kicking it in the head every day and going about your business to the point where you are either authoring or contributing author to books. So talk to us about some of your written work as well.
Yes. So the first book, Walk Through Fire, has really was birthed because when I had been diagnosed with cancer at 34, I really just didn't understand. So, I asked God, okay, what's the purpose of it all? I know it's got to be for your glory, but what is this all about? As I was having a down day, which means that I just had chemo, and 2 days later, you start to feel like you have the flu. That's what it means. So, as I was having a down day, I was on the couch and I was taking a nap, but then the TV woke me up. And on the TV screen, there was uh, a story on breast cancer, a new story on breast cancer. And it had a Caucasian lady and it had an African American lady.
Mm.
And it was really talking about how Caucasians get breast cancer more, but African American women die from it more. The light bulb went off. I said, I'm supposed to be an advocate. So from that time, I started to document my experience. I was already documenting my experience because I feel like we sometimes suffer what I call spiritual amnesia, meaning that, God has brought you through something and you kind of forgot about it. So I wanted to document that experience. So if I ever forget, I had it in writing. So then, I found out that I needed to do more with it. It needed to be more than just my story. It needed to be others as well. So in that book, not only it talks about my whole journey, and I remember before I finished that book, I had a writing block and I just didn't understand why. Then my parents started to pass away. And after my mom passed away and I documented that experience, I was like, It's done." So that book not only, it talks about that whole experience, but then it also has devotionals because I really believe, again, if you keep things positive, that will help you keep pushing forward. The second book I'm speaking is about women disruptors, and it has over 80 women who is giving you encouraging quotes and affirmations and things like that. And then my last book, and not final book, because prayerfully I got more that's going to be cranking out. And before I even talk about this last book, let me just let you know I don't like to write. So me being an author is a total surprise. This is God's glory on this because I remember I had to write a 19-page paper in college and about died. So, being an author, truly this means these books are really for not only myself but for others as well.
God
I wanted
inspired,
to,
right?
yes, yes. I really wanted to document what cancer looks like after you have went through active treatment because there's a lot of literature and things about right when you're diagnosed and why you're in active treatment. But I wanted to speak to sisters who are struggling on the transition of things, and again the talking to your doctors about different things, and how clothes are fitting, the impact of the surgeries and things like that, how it messes with you mentally or even physically, and all those different things. So that's how I got those books, and I'm really proud of all three of them.
Wow. Okay. This is awesome because they all sound like they're speaking to individual situations and
Hmm.
circumstances, especially that surviving the cancer journey for any person that's going through it now. Then you need some encouragement and making sure that you know what you're feeling. You're not on an island by yourself. It sounds like
Hmm.
it's a good book for you to be able to get a copy of it. And if you know somebody that's dealing with cancer, gifting them a copy of these books so that they see that you care about what they're dealing with. And
Absolutely.
all of these. So, how do people get a copy of your books?
Yes, you can go right onto my website, survivorscorner.net. There you can get all three books. You could also get Survivors merch. That business was birthed, from dealing with not only my journey, but then also my parents' journey. So I wanted survivors to look and feel fly. I had started my fashion boutique right before I got diagnosed. That was called 49 Rows. I still do that on the side, but I don't have the website for it anymore. But Survivors Corner is really dedicated for all survivors, just to let you know that, listen, you can keep making it and keep going on. So you could definitely get that. I help with styling as well, because especially with breast cancer surgery, your clothes start to fit different and you may not want everyone in your business. So just because you're going through some things doesn't mean that you can't look fly. So I help you with that process as well.
That is I'm typing it too because I want to make sure that I get that set up there. Okay, listen, survivorscorner.net. You can get any of the books right there. Will they you'll autograph it
Mhm.
for them too?
Absolutely.
Okay. So listen,
Absolutely.
guys, go and definitely get the books from survivorscorner.net. Get your autographed copy from Kimberly Willis. You're going to be hearing about her. You're going to be hearing about her mom and her dad's journey. That's people say, that it's one thing when you hear stories from afar, but when it hits home like that,
Hmm.
it makes nobody can relate unless you've experienced it. So all of the generic talk that happens about, oh, you have my deepest issue, and I trust me, you do. The people are being as
Mhm.
sincere as they genuinely can be, but they do not understand
Mhm.
the magnitude of how that thing has hit you unless they.
Absolutely.
You agree?
Absolutely. 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 And even if you had the same diagnosis, our paths could be different as well. My goal is to not have you lose your own identity when I help walk someone through their own storm. My task is to really help encourage and inspire you through the process, and just really to educate you, because again, your situation could be possibly different. I just want to shout out, I see on the comments, Angela Hope, she talked about, she recently lost 3 people on the last 6 months from cancer. I mean, it's really hard
I'm
trying
gonna put
to
up
do,
all of this. I'm gonna put up all of these
yeah.
comments. Do a flash round of comments so that you can address each of them. So let me go. If you can, Mackenzie, if you could from backstage, pop the comment up from Angela Hope, because I saw the
Mhm.
paragraph that she had written. And we're going to also address all of your comments, as many as possible. I just want to make sure you get a chance to talk about your books and the
Yeah,
things. Dennis
absolutely.
says, much love to you, Dennis Bracken said. Thank you, Dennis. Other comments. This is incredible news, he said as well. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you so much.
Other
Thank you.
comments. Maria says, awesome,
Hi,
awesome. And
Maria.
Maria is also a breast cancer survivor and has an
Congratulations to you.
yes, Pink Victory is her organization.
Oh,
My mom
awesome.
go back to my mom's comment, Mackenzie, so I can read it. And my mom is saying, I don't see the comments, so let me go. Mackenzie, can you put my mom's comment back up for a minute so I can see it? God has truly blessed you. You are a light shining bright for many others. May God bless you. Is what
Thanks,
my mom
man.
said. Thank you so much, Mom. She's
Thank
talking to
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Other comments that came in. My Aunt Joan Ford came, and she actually does hats as well, and she made a comment also, and her comment was, "Good morning. That this is very informative." And Dennis Spraggin said, "Red lining, red lining." I'm not sure what that means, but thank you for contributing. Maria,
Probably talking about, when I was saying different demographics, get different treatment. And said, I'm assuming that's what he means.
probably. Yeah, that's right. Different economically, correct. And
Mhm.
Maria said, "Congratulations on what you've accomplished as well." Let's see. Maria said, "Awesome. Hey, this is incredible news." Lots of comments. Thank you all. Thank you, Maria. And I
Thank you
wanted to
guys for
find that
watching.
there was a comment that came in from Angela Hope, so I wanted to get to that. So I got to figure that out. Mackenzie, are you able to get that comment for me? I'm trying to find it. There it is. Okay. Yes. So she said, "This is a difficult conversation, but a good life lesson conversation. I recently lost 3 beautiful friends in the last 6 months." So these statistics are not just made up numbers, these are real names
Right.
attached to people's lives being lost on this earth from cancers, she said. And I had the honor to eulogize one of them per her request. So I'm sending love to you both, is what she said.
Thank you. Thank you for watching, Angela.
Yes, thank you so much. And you have our condolences for your friends
Absolutely.
and their lives. And thank God that you were able to celebrate their lives by honoring them. Beautiful family.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah, she does have a beautiful family. Beautiful family. I also see Dr. Tina J. Ramsey. She actually is the founder of CTR Media Network, and we stream our program through CTR Media Network in over 100 countries. So
Awesome.
your story is going to be shared in over 100 countries, over 300 and some million households. So know that.
Awesome.
Anything you want to say to encourage people that are on this journey,
Hmm.
that especially just anything, because it's like I can't even think of what question per se to ask you,
Hmm.
because you may know that this is what people need to hear that's
Yeah.
going through this. What is that?
I want to talk about recently. I've always been in financial services. Like I was saying earlier, I was a branch manager, and I started in banking at age 21.
Mhm.
And as I'm in financial services, I'm realizing that over half of people in the U.S., about 8,000 people die every day in the U.S., and just about half of them, don't have life insurance,
Oh,
or people don't have a plan for their money, because that's another arm of what you deal with being sick. It's a whole financial thing. I remember looking at my bill for one of my surgeries and something else. I think it was like $36,000. If I didn't have medical insurance, that would have been crazy. But then on top of that, you know, you then enter into a period to where you're uninsurable. So it's very important to make sure that, oh, I got time, to do this. I got time to do this and that. It's very important to make sure that you are making sure your foundation is right. Not knocking anyone who has to do GoFundMe's and things like that, but let's build up a legacy. Let's build up a wealth and things. And I really help families with that. Helping them, make sure they got the foundation, having the income protection, making sure that they learn about how the money can work harder for them, because we didn't learn money in school. We didn't get finance 101. So I really like to educate my clients on that. And it's really important for all people, not especially survivors, who now have to, figure out, okay, if I'm uninsurable, how am I going to build up wealth and different things like that? Working might be a little bit different and things like that. So definitely, I help individuals with that. And it's just another form of my ministry. So, I got the Survivor Corners arm, but then I also got the financial arm too, to make sure that, I'm helping you so many different ways.
so it's almost like a one-stop shop situation when they come
I
to you.
got you. That's what I'm saying. I got you.
Help take care of you depending upon the different areas of need.
Hmm.
She can connect you to the proper resource for it and make sure
Exactly.
you don't have to go and figure it all out on your own. And that makes a big difference when you're already dealing with a diagnosis that you were unexpected in your life, you know. And
Hmm.
Mother Wandra Audrey. Actually, I was at an event recently, and she was crowned as a duchess. So
Oh,
I was really
awesome.
excited about it. But she is a breast cancer survivor as well, being a fourth stage breast cancer survivor, and she is doing well. So I just want
What a
to
blessing.
acknowledge.
What a blessing.
Yeah. Yes. So yes, Maria said, wow, she just loves the services that you're offering. And then also Angela said that I'm glad that you addressed the financial issue for families. Thank you so much, my sister. You are awesome. And Angela's awesome too. She came on the show and talked about love, finances, and fire and having that committed
Oh,
relationship.
yeah.
It was some good stuff. So if you missed that episode with Angela Hope, make sure you check it out. Let
Hmm.
me put your contact information up again, because I
Hmm.
really want people to stay connected with you. Tell them all the ways, all the ways.
Yes. So let's start off with what's on the screen. Again, you could go on survivorscorner.net. There is a contact section. So if you can't jot all this down, don't fret. You'll be able to reach me through that, which takes you to my email address as well as my phone number, as you see on the screen. If you want to follow me on social media, I have several channels for you to do it. Starting off with Survivors Corner. Instagram is survivors_corner. Facebook is Survivors Corner. Um, YouTube, Survivors Corner. I've done a podcast, and I've taken a break a little bit, but really it talks about different survivor stories. So go ahead and check out that channel. We've had some fire guests, and that could really help you, and with different tips and stuff. Again, disclaimer, it's just, again, talking about their experiences. Also on LinkedIn is Kimberly Willis 49. And then on my personal, you can follow me at K_Willis83, and you can kind of see everything that I'm on. But then on the financial end, you can go to livemore.net /Kimberly Willis. And then if you want to worship with me at church, you could go to newjmbc.org. I can't wait to hug on you if you do come, if you're in the
So
Michigan
where's that one?
area.
Let me see where that one is. That's where.
That's in Inkster, Michigan, newjmbc.org.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So those are all the ways that you can get to me. But again, if you can't remember all, just go to survivorscorner.net.
Yes, and survivorscorner.net. I want to pull that up. I'm a visual person, so I just
Mhm.
signed up for the newsletter, by the way. That's what I was over here doing
Awesome.
too. Yeah, I think it's so important. Let's see. Actually, I don't even see how. Oh, there it is, right there. I was gonna say I want to share with you all if I'm able to for a second, because if you're anything like me, I like to see stuff. So I'm
Yes.
gonna put this visual up. Is that okay? And you'll
Yes.
be able to see when you do go over to the website to Survivors Corner. It's warm and it's inviting. The whole goal is to build a community of survivors, helping them to thrive. And so you'll learn more about Survivors Corner and the mission and what it's all about, understanding the difficulty that it can be for you to be able to navigate through these difficult situations. You're going to learn more about Kimberly, her podcasts, and different articles that are available. So you don't want to miss connecting with and even booking your own spot. If you want to get booked in some regard, making sure that you get that consultation with her, and it's right here, and all of it's saying free, 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 free. So you have so many, there's merch. I just absolutely love what I'm seeing here. So make
Thank
sure you
you.
take a moment to go to survivorscorner.net and learn more about Kimberly Willis and all that she's offering. Now, Kimberly, with your family, I do want you to
Mhm.
share a tip or two on how do you balance marriage, not just marriage,
Mhm.
pastors, wife, marriage type of stuff. That's different
Mhm.
than just
Mhm.
marriage, way different. Then also motherhood and entrepreneurship. Can you tell us in a nutshell how you do that?
It's extremely difficult, but I'm a very organized person. I'm very focus driven person. So I have what my daily tasks are. I just completed a women's conference at our church called Refuel, which I have every year. And that had over 150 women where we inspired and encouraged and gave people tools on how to do the very thing that, I strive to do. It's really important, and I don't always succeed all the time, but the key is to always keep trying and to keep going as far as making sure you have your family as a priority. The things that I do is also for them, but I try to make sure that I'm still present. So sometimes I am extremely tired, but I'm still going to a basketball game, or I'm going to
Right.
my recitals and things like that. Church is a non-negotiable. I'm going to church.
Yes.
So
Right.
it's happening.
Right.
And I have no problem while I'm there. Might as well get my sing on. So since having cancer, I've had asthma, but I've worked through that. God has just been really so good to me.
Mm,
Despite all of my health challenges, He still kept me and still allow me the chance to still
mm,
serve at so many different capacities. The Bible talks about having different talents, and I believe that God has granted me several different talents to be
yes.
able to reach several different people. If you're not in church, I can still talk to you. I don't have to always talk about the Bible all day long. God's going
Right.
to be present. I don't necessarily have to say His name, but you're still going to get the essence of it. If you're in church, I got you. If you're a pink sister, I got you. If it's finances, I got you. Whatever that you need,
Yeah.
I kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
adapt to that because I feel that all of us having that human connection,
That's
we all need one another to help us to get to the next thing. So if you need a coach for whatever reason, I'm your girl. I can help you.
Yeah, I mean, she's like a homegirl. You can tell it's like just a fun, friendly person that you want to connect with. So make sure you all do that. I see your comment to Mother Julia Harper. She's in her 80s and taking time on social media to tune in today. And she actually is one of the longest living heart transplant recipients. So I just want to
Wow.
say she said, great show again. Thanks for this information.
Thank
She
you.
needed it. Blessed abundantly, and she appreciates you all so much. Thank you so much, Mother Harper. Yeah, okay. I think we crammed in everything that we could within an hour, don't you think?
Yes. I think we need a part two.
A part two. You can come back and do part two, three, four, whatever part you want with the blessing that you are to this world and the
Thank
gifts and
you.
talents that you share. And so you're welcome back anytime. And we actually have what's called Freestyle Friday experts. And that's when a person comes on and shares tips on Fridays
Oh,
with
wow.
a panel and you talk about your area of expertise.
Hmm.
So I formally invite you to be a part of the Freestyle Friday expert panel and pick a Friday you want to come on and keep your points coming. Okay.
Sounds good.
So it's a blessing. It's truly a blessing to have you here today. Listen, if any episode of the Kim Jacobs Show is helping you or your family to be able to have some level of better balance in your life, is bringing some balance into your household. We need partners. So we would love for you to be able to partner with the Kim Jacobs Show. And you can do that by just simply sending a cash app to Kim Jacobs Inc. Or you can cash app, well, yeah, Kim Jacobs Inc. But then if you do PayPal, you can do paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. And then whatever amount you submit will go directly into the PayPal portal, or Venmo at the Kim Jacobs Show. Now, when you do this, I'd love to be able to acknowledge you and share shout outs that you're one of our partners. So feel free to send your donations. We track who sends them, and screenshot this for a minute. Get cute for a second, Kim, just in case we want to,
All right.
Okay, that's a still like mannequin shot.
Yes.
Thank you all so much for contributing to the Kim Jacobs Show, but most importantly, stay connected with Kimberly Willis today, our guest. Take all of the books that she has in stock, get them out of her inventory. Go to survivorscorner.net, purchase a book, and be able to have her personally autograph it, and she'll send it to you. And follow her on all of her social media platforms, which we've discussed as well. Any closing comments, Kimberly?
I thank you. I go by both. I thank you for having me. Shout out to Robin Wilson, who recommended me to be here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to all the survivors that I see who's watching this and who will watch this, all the countries that we're going to touch. Just know that you're going to be okay. No, just keep on pushing forward and just take it one day at a time. Take one moment at a time. Take 1 second at a time. And that will help take some of that anxiety of the in picture of everything. It will help you to move forward.
And this is good advice for in life, not
In
only
life.
surviving breast cancer or a form of cancer, but just in life. Take the time to enjoy the moments that God has given you, because we don't know how long they'll last on this earth. So make the most of them. And I am honored to serve as the balance doctor for your life. And I thank God that He is using Kimberly Willis to salt this earth and share these gifts and talents that she's brought with us today. So thank you for being a wonderful guest.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I absolutely love all of you all. And we'll see you again tomorrow on the Kim Jacobs Show. And Fridays, Freestyle Friday, we have some of our experts coming in to talk to you about some things that's a game changer for you. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you, Mackenzie, backstage. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you, and make it a great day.